like we all know, in polytrauma, decision making is what changes the fate of the patient. Not the surgical skills here, but understanding the situation that the patient is in and making a decision what has to be done. Now that determines whether the patient is going to live or he's going to die. It doesn't matter how great a femur nailing we can do or how great a stapler fixation we can do if the patient doesn't survive at the end of surgery, right? So that's the skills that we need to learn of when to do, what to do, what not to do also, right? So let's understand two terms with respect to polytrauma, more theoretical, but equally important when you really come across a patient. Now understand that a true polytrauma patient, you might see say one in a year, okay, who really is dependent on your decision making. But at that time, if you take the proper decision, he's going to live. So that is it's like a total thing for that family, right? So that's how we need to think it. And like told, this is not from surgical points at all. The polytrauma is a complex situation. You can have any types of subtypes of fractures, and treatment of that is pretty simple. But as a whole, the patient is what you understand. So let's see what the definition is. What's the pathophysiology behind this polytrauma? And there are a lot of terms associated with polytrauma: early total care, damage control orthopedics, damage control nailing, early appropriate care. There are a few others, but we will go through them and see what is each of these, why are these thought about, and how it has to be, right? So if you think of polytrauma, the biggest issue with polytrauma is that it kills. Patient with polytrauma many times might not even reach the hospital. He might be dead by the time he reaches the hospital. Most of the time, it is immediate death. And the worst part is it is almost always secondary to a high velocity injury, road traffic accident. So it affects the younger generation. Now, unlike say a fractured neck of femur, domestic violence, it affects the older generation. This affects the younger generation, and he or she may be the only working member of the family, right? So the entire family resources are wiped out. So that's how we need to understand this concept. So we all know that after an injury, there are three peaks of death. That means chances are increased in these three times immediate after injury. One is immediate death, number two is early death, and number three is late death. Immediate death means the patient has no chance of getting any help. So this is a major injury, usually like a mediastinal injury, head infection, immediate cardiac injury, all those things where whether the doctor is available or not, it is not possible for this patient to survive. Early death is where the patient does survive for a few hours, and if gets an appropriate line of treatment, there are high chances he's going to make it. High chances he'll arrive at the end of this time, and that is totally dependent on the way we treat them. This is where we as treating physicians or surgeons can make a difference. The late death is simply often occurs because of sepsis, secondary to the injury and the treatment that we have done. Okay, so here also we can play a role, but in a polytrauma situation, it's the early death we are trying to prevent. Late death also, of course, if we take good decisions, it prevents both early death as well as late death. So what is the definition? Now, the definition of polytrauma is controversial. Why controversial? It's not, there is a perfect definition for polytrauma, but this definition is not seen in many of the books that we read. Okay? This definition is a working definition as agreed upon by the international group of surgeons who are working on trauma. And many are aware of that, but the books that we read are still not updated that. And even some of the notes that we read are not updated. That's why we can it is controversial. Now, that's why I've included most of them. Now, these definitions are outdated. Like two injuries have to be there. One is bone and one more system like a CNS, thorax, abdomen, pelvis. This was the initial definition that if there are two systems involved, one bone and one system, then it can be considered polytrauma. The old definition, not truly agreeable today. The other definition is two or more injuries where one of them is potentially life-threatening. This was also there for a certain set of time, but not true in current day explanations. And the other definition is where we get in a scoring system and tell that if there are two or more injuries where injury severity score is more than 15, it can be called polytrauma. Now, even this is not true as of today. Okay, so depending on what is given in your books and what your professors want you to tell, I think you can tell one of these, but the real definition will come to that. So what is the injury severity score and abbreviated injury score? Now in 1971, this was scoring. Now this scoring was actually not from an orthopedic treatment point of view. The scoring was for motor vehicle accidents, for disabilities, and for compensations in court. Okay, so it actually doesn't tell you too much from treatment point of view. Remember that. Now, entire body can be divided into 7 regions: external, head with face, neck, thorax, abdomen, pelvis, spine, and extremities. And each region, what are all the different injuries that are there? The maximum injury in that particular region is given a score, and then you calculate the score. Okay, so we have this 1 to 6: minor, moderate, severe. I mean, minor, moderate, serious, severe, critical, and unsurvivable. And a scoring is done. And then, if you do not know the score, or then it is given as 9 points, so unknown. Okay. So in 1974, Injury Severity Score by Baker et al. They told, and what was done was take whichever two worst regions are there of the score, take them, square them, and you add them. So if the maximum score in this particular thing can be 75. If any one area is 6. Now, what was 6? Remember that 6 was the most previous injury that could happen. Okay, then automatically the injury severity score becomes 75. And then they did what is the legal damage 50. So age for age 15 to 44, even if the score is 40, that means 50% of these people will die. Similarly, if you see that when there is an elderly patient, the physiological results are much lesser. When the score is 20, then chances of their death is 25, and from 55 to 64. So as you can see, all this scoring is not from treatment perspective, but from compensation that a motor vehicle accident survivor needs to get, survivor or whatever the person who's involved in that needs to get in a case. Okay. Now this was used in the definitions, and definitely, as you can understand, since it doesn't dictate the treatment, it should be using those definitions definitely. Okay. Then comes the new injury severity score. This was in 1997. Now, what is the rationale? The rationale was in the injury severity score, the two regions were taken. Now, for example, intra-abdominal patient has an abdominal injury. Yes, both his liver and his spleen gone, for example, and both are bad. Now, what happens was in the original scoring system, we can take either the liver or the spleen, because both of them come under the same region, which is the abdomen, and we can give the score. Now, each of these have additive effect. Now, both the liver and the spleen are involved. That definitely means the chances of much worse than having any one of these, right? But the old score did not take into consideration that, whereas the new injury severity score, it tells us that if the patient has 2 or more injuries even in the same region, then you can individually score both and square them in add. Okay, so slight subtle difference, but once again, not from treatment perspective, only for compensation point. So if that is the case, then what is the current definition of the polytrauma? This is a very, very simple definition. Yeah. Okay, this is the consensus paper. Almost all leading trauma surgeons dealing with polytrauma across the world were part of this. We have come to a standing working definition. Okay, this is published in 2014. Very well accepted now. This is simple, that we have 2 injuries that are greater or equal to 3 on the abbreviated score. That means anywhere in the body. Remember, again, this in the current definition, there doesn't need to be involvement of a bone. Okay, so it is not like all the previous definitions which told us that there has to be a bone involvement. But in current definition, bones need not be involved. If the patient has head injury with a chest injury, with having all these parameters, it very well can be classified as a polytrauma. Okay. So please score or more on an abbreviated injury severity.